So now we are going to begin streaming, and you guys are going to see what I am doing here. So the adventure we went through last time was a whole huge host and load of mistakes that we are now not going to do this time. And the idea is this time I'm not really exactly too sure what to do, but I think what I'm going to attempt doing just this time is essentially clearing out all of the language features. But not the like structs and stuff. So that's probably gonna give us a much better time for these things here than just trying to remove the whole thing. Even though, yeah, I did say like, I'll try to remove one thing at a time, right? And that is technically one thing at a time. It's still probably too much for this shit to handle. So I'll understand where it might falter, and I'll give it some credit where in this case it might need it to get any further, right? So I feel almost a little bad enough for it. So we'll just go ahead and give it some extra leeway here. But I am going to go ahead and make a project here, and we're going to initialize that. Of course, the nice thing about GitHub Desktop it gives us an initial commit automatically. So that's pretty nice. So all this shit should be in there. So if I go to show in folder, it should bring us to the never mind. All right, wonderful. There you go. There you go. My bad. missed a step there. But this should work, and this shouldn't automatically give us an initial commit. Now we'll let that go for a bit, and then we will come in here, close this. I already changed the oops. SDK version in the global.json. So we will go ahead and come in here and reopen the project in Visual Studio to hopefully see the working build process with the appropriately matching and actually satisfied global config. So hopefully the build script does now not complain. The only problem that I see here with this process that they have is that for some reason the build script has a different set of instructions than the I guess the build script that the build command is using. Not really sure what's going on there because it doesn't allow you to share the same level of functionality across locations of initialization. As in of sending commands or just processing your project in general, doing things to it. So we'll get into that shortly, of course, once we fix all the problems that Microsoft have. But for now, for starters, the only thing we're going to really do is write a much needed improvement to the programming language syntax. And then maybe we can rewrite the compiler to make the whole thing a one big I'll call them context macro language. I'll make it a macro paradigm language. And then that will allow us to rewrite the whole SDK. And then the compiler and framework will become one SDK, and that will be the language. So those are my, how I count them, 2 goals for the rest of this, until I see for the end of this project. Hopefully you guys have a few recommendations to make this even more fun of an adventure. Whatever you guys want to say, I will definitely consider strongly. So Yeah, right now we're just waiting for this build. Once it's cached, I'll be able to start getting in, cracking, editing and everything like that kind of thing. And once this works, I can actually get a little less careful with it. But the main idea is I'm not going to get nearly as not careful as I did last time, because I don't know what happened. All I was doing was removing some of the language stuff, and then the whole project stopped building, so that wasn't fun. But this time I'm going to be recording. And this time I'm also going to be a lot more attentive to what I'm doing in the editor. So, of course, with that, the first thing I'm going to attempt to commence in doing is going to be to remove the implementation of a lot of these language dependent functions, but not change their signatures, because that seems to be messing with cross project building ability, and when there's errors in multiple projects, this shit really likes to fail, evidently. So contrary to C++ problem, which is when there's errors in one project, the whole thing fucks up, unless it is a shared across multiple projects error, or like a one-line error in a function body. Otherwise, it likes to send thousands of errors per project. So if you have you can see scaling going into the process when you have a big project with that, especially with something like C++. But the nice part is that we see here that C# doesn't seem to tend to want to do that. However, it does have a seemingly an evidently contradictory problem, which is that when there are errors in more than one project, oftentimes the whole thing will stop building for a long time or forever. So of course that's not something we want to face today. Now, did I do that or did it do that? Oh, it did that. See, I put my hand on my mouse right when that happened, and I do have like 2 buttons on the side of it, so I really thought it was maybe that. I don't know. I was confused, but it does appear to be the right folder. Let's just double check that that's it, and that that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Check that everything is correct. Yeah, wow. This is it. Okay. Well, there we are, ladies and folks. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't expecting that. So, if we don't just get right into here, we will begin editing by, I guess this time, trying to get our lib project to work. And then eventually we'll remove all of the public APIs, all of the tests, which I'll make my own tests later, of course. And what was it? Wow, my brain is really not working. Hold on, back up. So I'm gonna remove yeah, hold on, that's right. There it was. That almost there's a train of thought. I can just see it right there. It's like it's right in front of me. So hold on, we're gonna remove not features. We're not moving features yet. Holy shit, what am I doing? We're gonna remove unit tests. Of course, obviously. What was the other one that I listed? Oh, I don't know. That's a bit of a harder problem to answer. Fuck, what the hell? Hold on, unit tests, obviously, right? And then there was what? What was the other thing? Oh my god. Okay, hold on. We have to remove the stupid things, like for example, features, versions, empty analyzers, AI analyzers, certain errors, obviously the way. Oh, generators. There you go. Generators. Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, code generators. So remove all the code generators. Once, of course, we build this thing, because the building right now is actually generating a lot of the code. Oh, wow. Okay. So let's. I think I know what I need to do here. I've had this problem before. I never solved it through these means. They're going down this kind of route or whatever. However, I did get into a point where. Now, hold on. What was this before? 104? Yeah. Yeah, it was 104. So, but I did end up getting past this thing where the building in the command line and not here and all that. So, so I guess I changed that before that got created. Okay. Let me. I just have to double check here. Just have to make sure. And, in programming, this is one of the most important things you can do. Is messing up with things like this is one of the worst possible outcomes. So, I would like to make sure I'm doing things right here. Wow. Really? I see why I didn't have that on now. Yeah, it was 104. Okay. So, I mean, I guess we can just go ahead and download that technically. Normally I think it just like temporarily downloads it or something. And that's how it gets those extensions. However, I think, I don't actually know how, I don't know, I have no idea. But, so, now what we will go ahead and do is I will actually uninstall, some SDKs here. I'm probably gonna keep, well, hold on. Yeah. I'm gonna keep, now wait. Yeah. Anyway, well, so I'll remove runtime 901. I'll remove SDK 90.102. I'll remove 90.200 preview. And I'll keep 90203. And I'll just be just to have that there. And then if I can find a fucking installation for this shit, it'd be nice. You don't actually have one. So it's funny you'd tell me to get that when I literally can't. But it's okay. We'll figure it out. So, in fact, we might as well start here. I can open that. Who cares? With this, so the problem here is going to be this, because there's no actual SDK for that. There's not. I don't know why they would tell you to download that when you literally can't. So, maybe what we can do is we can, no, that's not right. See, I wish I could just make it use 10. I wish I could make it use any version at all. I can't even change the version for shit to anything, because it's going to do that. Well, on the command line, it's going to be fine. It doesn't care on the command line for some reason. But, so anyway, but, and why is that there? Can I uninstall that for you? Jesus. There's a thing that removes the traces of that later that I should probably use to uninstall it. So I'm going to do no for now, actually. Because I think even if it does manage to uninstall, it's not going to be a fun process. So, here we have 105. So I might try to, like, crack the link here for the installer. Fuck with it a little and try to get it to work on 9 excuse me 9.0.104. So what I will do maybe is just that, so we can copy this thing. See what happens if we put in here. Yeah, see if we can just change this to 104. Oops. 10R? No. 104. It actually worked. Look at that. How's this work? Guys, I'm a genius. Look how smart I am. Guys, in that collab, please. No. But that's so smart. Look at that shit. So we got it now. Alright, guys. So we got the program. Why does this? Oh, it always does that. Yeah. So, so now I got this. Oh, I should not have done that. Ooh, that would have been bad. Could you imagine me closing that new tab to be so frustrated? Ah! To just that shit downloading in my downloads box again. That would suck. I'd be like, fuck me, please, just end my life. Please just kill me, freaking Chase. So anyway. This building is some folks. So let's see that thing build. Oh, nope. So we might have to start doing this the old-fashioned way, unfortunately, guys. So what we're gonna do is just unfortunately we're gonna do this the old-fashioned way. It's okay. I mean, I'll try something different here in a second. We might still be able to get the IDE to work, but I know for a fact I need to get this to build in a command line first before we can proceed on over to the IDE. So that's what we're gonna do. For now, we just watch this build and wait. Damn, that's actually so good. Fire. What the fuck? Damn. Yo. Yeah. I was walking down a lonely street one night. Somebody said to me, "Is this the way you wanna be going down?" I said, "Free my soul, I might fly across these clouds." Like, oh, the sky's not even got enough space for my plight. But maybe then I'll be able to see you from the distance that you were insinuating from the beginning. This is the instantaneousness that you need to drop. Don't be so immediate, spontaneous, sporadic. Fly with me, I might just have a place for you in my Benz. Which, see, I need a little bit more a space from thee. I need more ability to convey the message clearly of the fact that I cannot stand you, but I don't hate you. But don't talk to me with that fandom or the view that you have. It's a little bit way too much for me to create Wait, what? Nah, but that's a Russ take. I don't want to do that shit. I cannot even compensate with it for 1 second, so don't you fake that shit. I'm gonna rate you a 6 out of 9. But nah, just wait down, bend down. You might, wait, you might be enough for me, and then I'll be, and then everything that you wanted to do to me will be like that broom going vroom, vroom, vroom across the carpet. Not too much. In the room, there was so much noise, I could not overdo that shit. But here's some reverb for the toys. I got more of that shit on the back. I got everything. It's going to Mars. It's going to Joy's. I don't even know what to do when we get to the place we were heading. Was a little bit too distant for us to do in the beginning because we were like some cavemen coming from the slums. At least that's what it feels like, comparable to the modern day. But we didn't know what to do back then, so we just came up with a bunch of words and said, hooray. All right. Yeah, we have all these words, but they're not enough for me to possibly convey to you everything we used to do. Like, for example, lighten fingers, whatever, bare fingers. What? Yeah, I said the fogos, whatever the fuck you want to do, but at least you're not fumando the, fumandos, camino. Put that camino on. We got a shemaya for your back, mom. But at least she's not the back rooms. At least she's not hot compared to us. Wait, at least she's not that hot that we can even feel like something coming our way. Wait. At least it's not even comparable, not even attractive. At least it's not even something that I could possibly compare to a magnet. Shit, because it's got north poles, it's got all upside down sides, everything. 360, more like 350. I just didn't miss the hit. I was just out of whiz. What? Yeah, you heard me, because this is the shit. Like, how did I even get you? I was just like, I didn't even have enough velocity and momentum. Wouldn't affect you. There's no way pressure just went past you like, whoo! Wait, that was stupid. What? But I'm gonna hit them with something a little more new age, something with a bigger font so they can read no matter what the age. At least then they'll be like, I don't even need to put the word in the flip in the page. It just seems like it's doing it on its own because it's kind of some English. It's something that not gonna degrade me when I read it. At least then the next familial member that I have will not be my parent. Shit. Oh, I was whispering that shit from the mountain, but apparently wasn't apparent. It wasn't enough for that motherfucker to figure out. So I was like, shit, let's just do this without all the talk fight. At least then maybe you'll have something to write down on the pattern. It won't be all this stock plight. At least then it won't be the shit that you try to hang through those speakers, bang around. And I was like, man, I don't even want to be doing this shit with it. And because I have nothing to waste, I have nothing to lose, I have nothing to forget, I have nothing to retake, I have nothing to reverse, nothing to regret. Did I say that? I don't know, but I will definitely rehearse that shit for you. But I won't be putting a hearse because I won't be 6 feet down. I won't be even Lil Blue. I won't have my hands on my face. I won't have nothing to say other than, yeah, I knew what I was doing the whole way because I knew what I was going to get at the end of the day. Once I got that paycheck, they call that shit the payment. I said, nah, wait, don't forget the theft they call taxation, and that's not a regret still. But at least I can realize that I don't like what people do, and I acknowledge they ill-mentness. And then again, I want to get back at them for that, but then it won't always be the right time. In the end, it will eventually come, but don't you fly to it, because flying in the end won't get you to the things that you were begging for to God. And maybe Allah will come back for the message saying I'm a different guy, but nah. At least then you'll realize that all these things were a little bit kind of making sensible shit. Just like the incense and forget till next morning, then maybe everything will be fine. That's what you said to yourself and over again, and then everything eventually found this nice, concise compartmentalization. Does that make sense? Slice this up, and then maybe you'll be like, this is some shit that's kind of nice actually to keep listening to this. I don't know. I'm kind of getting something out of it. It feels like at least then maybe I'll be able to come out of it in a daze, but not a hip grazed. I'll just be blazed. I won't be in a haze. I won't be caught with all the things that I knew I would be saying for days in my bedroom, waking up with my hands flying up, my arms going as high as they can go from that position. At least it's kind of 45 degrees, waiting from the facing up the top and then going towards the back. Shit. And then maybe I'll have a new place to go when I don't come back with all the shit that I promised those hoes I would have. But that's why I call them baby mamas, because I don't even give a fuck about the dope. I don't even give a fuck about the real rhymes, and that's hope. I just say the things that kind of lays down my fucking heart, but at least then something I'll have a little bit of way to go with all this light. Is it coming out my eyes or going back in? I don't even need to know, but I said maybe you do, bro. Just think about it a little more deeply. Then maybe you eventually you'll find that shit that you were leaving behind, and your family will actually greet you with some not spiteful eyes. They'll say, hi, how's been life? Oh, please tell me I got that. Wait. Wait. Please tell me I got that, bro. Oh. Oh. Hold up. No. No, 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 no. What was that shit? Run it again. Oh. No, 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 dude. You don't get it. Hold on, no, no. You don't get it. Yo. Tell me I got that, bro. It's like, tell me I got that, chief. That's great. Nah. Yo. Damn it. No way, dude. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to just start a new stream. I need to make sure